There are many social networking features in SharePoint. Our goal is not to try to list or discuss them all, but instead to give you a feeling for what's there, why you'd use them, and some specific insights in how they're used. Let's start with a short list. First of all, one of the really nice things about using social networking in SharePoint is that they are tightly integrated, so they're just part of working with lists and libraries in your My Site. It doesn't seem like a completely separate activity, and it doesn't take any extra effort, so it'll be easy to use, and if you haven't used it in the past, to start using it. It's built into really all of the components, into sites and lists and libraries, into blogs. You can make your own posts, and of course, people and their profiles as well. You can either view them inline while you're viewing content, or you can take a look at the social networking summary by viewing your My Site newsfeed. That's where all of the information about what you've been doing, as well as all of the people, sites, lists, libraries, and content you're following can be found in one consolidated place. The types of activities that are logged include the My Site and the People card, status updates that people may be putting in, ratings or likes of content that they've reviewed that they either think is good or maybe not so good, notes, which is actually more technically called the note board. You can make tags that will help you categorize. You can follow lists, content, and people. You can give mentions to your colleagues, a way to kind of give a shout out to say, here's what somebody else is doing, and maybe you should take a look at it. One of the new features that we have in 2013 is called a community site. And we don't really explore that too much in this particular course, but I wanted to talk you a little bit through what it involves and what it provides. Community sites are based on discussion boards, and they use tools both from discussion boards and from blogs. It gives you the ability to manage discussions, to work with categories like you do in a blog so people can categorize their information, but it also brings in those social networking features that you've seen maybe in other places, like the ability for the administrator to assign badges to contributors. That means you kind of get points and even little marks on your screen if you provide a lot of content, if you give people feedback. This actually can allow people to reach achievement levels. And believe it or not, one of the things that we've learned about people is we're kind of competitive. There's a feature in instructional design called the gaming portion of using learning. And what it means is, because we're competitive, people will use computer systems more if there's an element of the game. And games are about competition, whether we like to believe it or not. Sometimes people will read content or respond to a post and give their own opinion just because they get a badge. These kinds of points and badges for participation also help build something called reputation ratings. That way you can go into a discussion board and say, I'm really interested in SharePoint 2013, but of the 100 people who have been working here, I don't know which person here might know a lot. Maybe there are some people that are fairly new to SharePoint, and they're voicing their opinion, but they're not what I consider an expert. Well, these reputation ratings can help you determine who is the expert in the room. Now, all of these, of course, are set up by an administrator, so they may or may not all be in place, and there may be, of course, different requirements for different types of sites. But that's basically what a community site is. It brings in a lot of the features of blogs and of discussion boards and gives a place really kind of like a central commons where people can come and share information. Lastly, I just wanted to mention, maybe as kind of a carrot to dangle out there for the next version, that Microsoft did acquire Yammer. And Yammer integration is currently available kind of as a third-party thing, but it will probably be more integrated in the next version of SharePoint. So if you are a Yammer fan, stay tuned. It's still to come. So what do you now know? You know that social networking is not just for teenagers anymore. It's okay to admit that. Many people are comfortable using the tools, and that means it's an easy tool to use. Features provide business value. They aren't just about little extra things that people need to talk about on the weekends or their spare time. There's true business value to be gained by using these tools. Some of those values include that it allows individuals to contribute. An individual who's not an administrator of a list, a library, or site can now have a voice. They can make a rating. They can leave a note. They can make a comment. It also allows individuals to have more control over their own experience by giving their own ratings and by using their own tags. They also can follow content that's important to them. It helps promote relationships amongst colleagues because I can now keep track of what people are doing without having to go out and talk to them. Now, that's not a bad thing, talking to them, but sometimes it's just impossible. And before you realize it, you haven't spoken to somebody for a couple of months and you have no idea what they're doing. Because a lot of the social features are automated, all I have to do is go look at my news feed to keep track of what my friends, colleagues, supervisors, project managers, and other people have been up to. It strengthens the folksonomy of the organization. By people using it, people are helping build their own environment. And of course, it engages users and adds interaction. Instead of all of the information in SharePoint just being something that people look at on occasion or consume, they now feel like they're part of it. They can rate it, they can categorize it, and they can speak with other people about it as well. Let me say this one more time in summary. Whether this is all new to you, and when somebody says tweet, you're not sure if they're talking about something on a computer screen or a bird on a wire, or you personally host a blog and have 1 million followers on Facebook and Twitter. Social networking is a tool that we have in business that not only is fun, because it is, and it's okay to admit that, but that also adds tremendous value to the workplace. This includes engaging talent and presenting our companies as progressive organizations that are on the cutting edge of the tools that need to be used today. It's built in, so why not start taking advantage of it? After all, you just might find that you love it.